Bomb Filter, we're gonna go harder, stronger, faster, longer. We'll push our luck with movies that suck. Strap in, because we're about to blow your fucking mind.
Hello and welcome to the Bomb Filter, an experimental movie podcast designed with one thing in mind: to determine the worst movie ever made. We take bad movies and put them through a series of tests to decide just that. I'm your host, Chris Ackman. I'm joined by my co-host and fellow mad scientist, Rob Scucci. Hey, Rob, how are you, and why are we doing this?
You know, I felt a little stupid at first, but it's going to end with an announcement that makes me feel really great, as we are finally on iTunes.
Yay! So
what happened was, here's the stupid part, is iTunes or Apple contacts you for everything. If you're running out of space on their cloud, if you need one of the 7 trillion updates they make you do every week, stuff like that. So, you know, I put bombfilterpod@gmail.com, where you could also write us, audience, as my contact information when I uploaded the RSS feed for the podcast. And I assume no news is good news. Nothing. I log back into the Podcast Connect thing, and I didn't check off the box saying how often our podcasts recurred. It's a weekly podcast. I thought that. So that was my bad. I should have done my due diligence and checked. So I checked that box off, and like 5 minutes later, all of our episodes were in iTunes. And, so that was my bad. I'm good with technology in the sense of, following directions and clicking the thing and following the prompts. And I should have assumed that something was wonky on my end, and I didn't. So, apologies, but it ends with good news. We're on iTunes now. So,
that's great news.
As for why we're doing this is to talk about Brendan Fraser. And, I think this is one of the nails in his coffin towards the end of his run in the 90s and the early 2000s. And we thought it was a good idea to bring in a Brendan Fraser movie because he's kind of going through a renaissance right now. So let's dig up some skeletons from his closet and, pick apart the bones.
Hey, let's do it, dude. Why don't we get right into it?
Sure.
All right, I got a couple bad reviews for you.
Sure, let's go for it.
Okay, Mark Savlov of the Austin Chronicle says, so silly, so garishly over the top, and so bracingly eager to please that it's hard not to fall under its gleefully goony spell. So he doesn't sound like he really hates it. Yeah. But he did throw in a fair amount of insults there.
Yeah, the eager to please, like they're just trying to jam in too many jokes, stuff like that, probably, right?
It's true.
Yeah.
Manola Dargis of LA Weekly. That sounds kind of like a name I might throw in at the back credit names of him there. But this bit of fluff overflows with so much honest charm, it barely matters that it's one in a seemingly endless succession of Tarzan retreads. So another backhanded compliment, right?
Yeah, it just seems like it's like I didn't like it, but they're trying. That's
exactly.
I was getting for it. Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like the Disney machine got to them. They didn't want to be too harsh because it's a kids movie.
Yeah.
But I think we have reason to be harsh. I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah. I had a buddy, reach out to me today and say, I'm not sure, if I can really critique this movie too heavily because it's over the, top and childish for a reason. It's like super cartoonish on purpose. And I said to him that I see where he's come from, and I agree. But there are reasons that this movie deserves some scorn, and that is there's overt sexuality in a Disney child's movie. Yeah, lots of dicks and boobs jokes, and I'm never a fan of fart jokes, pretty much ever.
Nah,
maybe Dumb and Dumber, I guess.
Yeah,
might have one or two.
Oh, those were great. The turbo lax, you can't. I mean, that's on a different level.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Why? I meant to ask you if you have any YouTube comments before we move on to the first test.
So I was telling you off air, instead of doing a bunch of different individuals commenting, I'm doing one comment thread. Just to highlight what's wrong with people on YouTube.
Okay, perfect.
The main comment was, got chills watching this. Such great memories and great times back then. The reason why they don't make movies like this anymore is because the kids these days expect too much and don't appreciate the simple things. The reply, I wouldn't blame the kids, to be honest. It's not their fault. Blame the adults behind it. And that was Evie. The next comment, what Evie said, it's usually adults who won't want to do fun movies. And then someone else replied to Evie, I agree. I'm also especially disappointed with my former Disney childhood changing.
Okay. So
I got nothing. Like that's
it seems like they're taking the movie pretty seriously.
Yeah.
And it's just a big like gas.
Yeah.
So yeah, why don't we move on to test number 1?
Okay.
The Keystone apparatus.
Okay.
So this segment is why don't we throw that bumper in, baby?
Let's do that right now.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, step up to witness my latest creation, the darn tootin', rage-inducing, convoluted, highfalutin Keystone apparatus. You want to know if you're predator or prey? Then step this way and have your say. Wait, oh no, what's happening? Something is going terribly wrong!
The Keystone apparatus.
All right, let's
it's
get into it.
It's just so insane. I love it. So first of these movies, it's a segment designed to get a proper evaluation of the ecosystem of films that this movie exists in. We average the Rotten Tomato critic scores for the movies suggested to us by the streaming service for our subject and compare our film of study to that average. So if it's determined that a film is a keystone film, we call it a predator, but that's rare. We usually deal with prey here, movies that are eaten up by the surrounding community of movies. So I actually used IMDb this time.
Okay.
And here are the movies that they suggested to me. George of the Jungle 2. That's also got Thomas Hayden Church, who played Lyle.
Yeah.
That's it. He was like the main attraction.
He was the only one that couldn't get work after that, so he just had to redo it.
17%.
Fair.
Inspector Gadget with Matthew Broderick. 21.
Okay.
Brendan Fraser makes another appearance here with Looney Tunes. That one surprisingly got a 56. I've never seen it.
Me either.
Have you? Okay,
No.
yeah. Robin Williams with Flubber, a 24.
Okay.
I was surprised. I thought they'd get a little more than that.
I had fond memories of that, but it's one of those things. Maybe I should just leave that in the past and not revisit.
Yeah, or it'll be season 3, and we'll do that on purpose.
Okay, sounds good.
Honey, I Blew Up the Kid by that's Rick Moranis.
Yeah,
40%.
I love that movie. I fucking love that movie. Yeah.
Okay, I have never seen it. So, I have a feeling you're like a secret Rick Moranis guy.
I don't hate him. I mean, he's a class act, man. I give it to him.
Yeah, fair enough. He kind of looks like a platypus or something.
Yeah.
It bugs me. The Flintstones with John Goodman, a 20. And Richie Rich with Macaulay Culkin got a 24.
Okay.
So I added all those up and averaged up 7 movies, and it got a 29%.
Okay.
Do you think George of the Jungle is Predator or Prey? Did it do better or worse?
I think it got 22.
It got a 56.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I swear to God. So that would give it what, a 27% in the positive. That's pretty crazy.
No way.
Yeah. So I'm going to jot that down. This being the first movie of season 2, we're just going to take down these scores and compare to the movies going forward. Okay. And then we're going to have a nice tournament maybe between the 2 seasons.
Okay.
Or we'll wait until the 4th and we'll do a 4-season tournament. Sound cool?
Okay. Yeah, a little bracket action.
Yeah. I'm just writing George scores. George scores. Plus 27 on the apparatus. It is a Predator, if you can believe it.
Okay.
So we're going to get into test number 2, the elevator movie plot pitch.
Okay.
So an easy way to determine the strength of a movie is to summarize its plot as succinctly as possible. The gold standard now for the plot pitch is The Big Lebowski with a 13. It took 13 seconds to explain the plot of that movie. So we're going to explain the plot of this movie as succinctly as possible. However many seconds past that 13-second gold standard, we jot down as our result.
Okay.
We also apply a star rating so that it is easier to compare to other movies going forward. So why don't we get into test number 2, the elevator movie plot pitch.
Hey, I gotta show you my script for this movie that I just came up with. It's have you ever seen Top Gun? So it's like the guy from Top Gun, but he works at a mall. And
so it's a nice
he's trying to hand out those little lotion packets as a sample. Hey, sir, I know you're in a hurry. Would you try that? So he's got the lotion job and hired a comedian to do their
Corky Romano.
I'm cutting out Corky Romano.
Okay.
All right.
Ready when you are, buddy?
Yep. So 3, 2, 1, pitch.
A baby boy lost in the jungle after a horrific plane crash becomes king of the jungle. Raised by an intellectual English-speaking silverback, George has a loose grasp on our language. He is startled to find a woman of his species endangered in the jungle. After saving her life, he falls in love. She returns that passion, but is betrothed to a narcissist dickbag. Her parents set her up with Lyle Vanderbilt, a well-to-do bachelor of America. After bringing George to San Fran, Ursula hopes to win over her parents in a bid to allow George to step in for Lyle. Will these culture-crossed Tukey birds tie the knot, or will the proverbial rope swing untie, leaving Lyle the man to win Ursula's hand?
48 seconds. I knew we were in trouble when you were turning the page.
That is a 35 then.
Wow. Okay.
What do you say? Star rating?
I'll give you 4 stars on that because
wow, thank you so much.
It's going to need it. A and B like that covered the entire plot.
And I thought you might have liked Culture Cross Tukey Birds.
I did really like Culture Cross Tukey Birds.
That was for you, buddy.
Thank you.
Okay, we have our score. We will move on now to test number 3, the indefensible dialogue counter.
Okay.
So this test gathers horrible lines of dialogue into a collection that we then tally to give us our score. So if Rob can't defend the line,
oh God,
we tally it up. Let's get into it. Test number 3, the indefensible dialogue counter.
Something that makes absolutely no sense. Something similarly stupid.
I'm just going to put my face in my hands and start crying because I don't think I can do anything for this. But let's go for it. Let's go for it.
Okay. All right. Let's go for it. Number 1, I have Lyle in the beginning when he's on the cell phone trying to get them a room at like the Ramada Inn.
Yeah.
Nairobi or whatever.
Uh-huh.
He goes, wait a second. I'm losing you. Bad reception here. Oh, okay. I've got you back. No, wait. I'm losing you. My batteries are dead. No! Duty!
The only way I could defend this, and I can hear eyes rolling right now, is we do need one of these just pieces of dialogue to sum up his character. And
okay.
And I would say this basically sums up his entire being. So that's the only way I would defend it, but it's really stupid. So I don't know if I should defend it. So what do you think?
Let's say it's defended because,
okay.
I don't know, because you're right. And I think it deserves one, deflection because it is important that we know Lyle is just a rich brick, right? Yeah,
it's character development, but it's also stupid.
It is bad. I'm almost tempted to say we should tally it though, because he has no reception. And then all of a sudden he says his batteries are dead. So it's kind of like, which is
Let's go with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tally it?
Yeah,
okay.
I tally it.
All right. Because, I mean, you pick one. You don't say the batteries are dead in the middle, you know?
Yeah, I was getting some shame shakes trying to defend it too, so.
Number 2, also Lyle. So we'll see if this one's defensible.
Sure.
The guy just finished telling the legend of the White Ape.
Yes.
And he's like, and now they say that, and Lyle interjects and he says, he and Bigfoot run the candy counter at the Bakavu Cineplex, now playing on all 14 screens. Planet of the Apes.
Take it off. I don't.
It's terrible. It's terrible dialogue.
He's trying these jokes on people that have no context of what these things are.
Yeah,
I think that's why it's so
At
annoying.
least in his mind. Yeah.
Because
sure.
their native language is Swahili. They've never been off that middle part of Africa. Like, do you think they know what a fucking multiplex is?
Probably not.
Yeah, unnecessary.
All right, number 3 is George. Yeah.
Yes.
Rubber tree, always good for clothesline.
No.
Okay. Number 4, also George, immediately after that line. I like to spread him out a little bit, but he deserves it. He says, flying pile driver, as he elbows the lion. I know you're maybe not too well versed in the audience as well in wrestling, but that is not a pile driver. A like 20-second investigation would have yielded a different result. Yeah, they looked at it. So do you want to defend flying pile driver?
No, I don't.
Okay. So 4 for 4, 5, we're going George again.
Okay.
And this is an exchange between him and Ursula.
Okay.
So Ursula's kind of woozy and he says, "What your name?" Ursula says, "Ursula Stanhope." "What's yours?" "George. George Primate."
That actually made me laugh because he thought, that is character development because it shows how dim-witted he is, more so than the pile driver or any of the other lines in the movie. Like that was just like a innocent, like, kid's joke that I appreciated it. I'll give him that.
Okay, 4 for 5.
Okay.
Number 6, the narrator says, "She had given up all hope of everything except enjoying the Jungle King's company from the precarious perch atop his faithful doggy."
It's tough because I actually really like the narrator in this movie.
Okay.
Without getting into it too much, but because it might come up later, I like the whole fourth wall aspect of this movie. But I wonder, the reason why I don't know if I want to defend it is because I wonder if did they get the narrator to like, oh, never mind, for this joke it works better if we do blank. Did they do that because like they just fucked up and they wanted to like really quickly voice over like a correction? Or do you think it was intentional? That's where I'm torn. I don't know if they wrote poorly and they talked their way out of it by doing like the fourth wall thing.
Yeah, it's a good point. I hadn't thought about it, but that is a cheap way to just like double back. I just don't feel like you make those kind of jokes on purpose.
No.
You know what I mean? You kind of have to stumble into it and then realize that you stepped in mud and like take your foot back out. And then instead of wiping the mud off, you just cover your other foot and call it a pair of muddy shoes.
Yeah.
Like that's fashionable or something.
Okay. So you want to take that off?
I don't know. I don't have much more for the narrator, honestly, because he didn't bother me either. Yeah. But there was something about the sort of alliteration, the like precarious perch. You know, he does a lot of faithful friends and blah blah blah, and does a lot of that. Yeah. But the elephant's not a dog.
No.
You know, and I hate that they're going for that. It shouldn't be a precarious perch, really, because the elephant. We should trust him.
That's true. As much as I like the narrator, I would take that off then.
Okay. All right. I'm being a little nitpicky, but we'll go with number 7 here.
Okay.
This actually does also involve the narrator, but isn't his line.
Okay.
Well, yeah, I guess it is. Because Ursula says, "Here I am, lost in the wilderness with a jungle man," immediately after the narrator said that. Yeah. Which is fine once, but it happens a lot in this movie. Which I felt like they deserved a ding because...
Give them the ding because it was funny when they did it in Team America and they were doing an establishing shot of the Hollywood sign and then they had a little caption on the bottom saying it was Hollywood. Like, that was fun. Same joke, but executed like 1,000 times better. So you could dig them on this.
Okay, cool. So we're 6 for 7.
Okay.
8, and this is a big one. This is I should have maybe written this first or last, but I'm going to get maybe a little bit upset here, but George says repeatedly, not once. George says, "George just lucky, I guess." Does this also drive you insane that he's talking in third and first person?
Yeah, he's referring himself to the third, but he's ending it in first. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, that is bothersome.
It should be then George, just lucky George, guess if he doesn't know how to refer to himself as I, or I'm just lucky, I guess if he does.
Yeah.
You can't have both.
You can.
And he says it like 4 times, and it really bugs me that kind of writing slipped through to a major Disney production.
Yeah, and we're going to get to a point later in this episode where I really think the use of language is going to come under a lot of scrutiny. So I'm holding back right now.
Yeah, I'm actually excited to hear you rip it up a little bit, having been an English major. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, number 9. Lyle has a little exchange here with one of the hunters, like the what do you call those guys out in the safari? Like big game, but they're
like a guide. They're like a guide or like
no, yeah, but the guys that he brings along with him that are like hunting illegally. What do you call that?
A poacher.
Yeah, poachers. He gets an exchange. I'm not sure whether it was Thor or Max. I'm sorry. But he says, if something bad happens, I'll scare George off with this. And he shows the lighter.
Yeah.
And then we'll call him, Max says, isn't that a lighter? And he says, yeah, but he doesn't know that. Right?
Yeah.
But he also doesn't know what a fucking gun is. So you're probably not going to scare him off with whatever that piece of metal is in your hand.
Yeah.
Because he's never been shot at.
Yep.
Okay. So ding that off too?
Ding that off.
Ding, ding. Number 10. Sleep sweet, Ursula. Sleep sweet, George.
Dumb.
Yes, I agree. Really stupid. It's supposed to make him like innocent and I don't know.
And it shows it shows her getting on his level, I guess.
Yeah, this is a problem for me.
Yeah.
I'll expand on that thought later, but it's a problem for me that she's stooping.
Yeah.
So do you want to go 9 for 10 then?
Let's go 9 for 10.
Okay. Beatrice Stanhope, her mother.
Mm-hmm.
You just caught one of those terrible jungle viruses that got you all mixed up. Like what? What's that? Which one's that?
It's gaslighting. It's called the gaslight virus.
Ticket?
Yeah.
Okay, 10 for 11. Number 12. All the girls say that George has a sensual intelligence while he's running around with a fucking horse.
Mm-hmm.
Does he?
I guess what they were trying to say is that like he's good with animals. He's in tune with them in a way, in a spiritual way that transcends language. But I think they were really kind of painting it as like a "we want to get boned" kind of joke.
I was thinking it's more of an animal magnetism, that kind of thing, where they're just like raw, like just ready, just magnetized. They're just feeling the pull of George's abs, basically. Yeah. Not that he has any sort of intelligence. But I'm willing to, call that one not a tick because you kind of defended it sort of well there.
All right. I'll take it. I'm awesome. I gave this movie a point.
All right. 10 for 12. Finally for me, and then we'll see if you have any mentions, and then we'll get into the fourth test, which will definitely contain a little more dialogue. George says about Ape after Ape was abducted. He says, "Poor Ape napped brother."
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's the whole line. I really thought it sounded awful. I don't think that he would have been able to apply ape to kidnapped because I don't think he knows what that is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he said "poor kidnapped brother," and then Tukey went "wah, wah," and then he like corrected him like "ape napped," and it's like,
oh my god, is that true? Because that's even worse.
I think so. I want to say he was corrected. He changed the words because he was squawked at.
Because Tukey knew better.
Yeah.
Okay, so 11 for 13.
Yes.
Okay, we have our score then, unless you have any honorable mentions.
The only honorable mention I had was when Lyle was like trying to come up with like the backstory after the lion attack, and he was smearing berries on himself. He's like, blood everywhere. He's like,
He's 400 pounds.
couldn't overpower it. Man ape. He's like rolling around in dirt like a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
So just that one. I don't have the exact dialogue in front of me.
Yeah.
Okay, let's make it 12.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Test number 4. We're going to get into the emotometer overspill here.
Okay.
So this piece of custom equipment we refer to as the emotometer can be fine-tuned to the emotional output of the actor in question. When activated, the meter measures the peak of emotion displayed by the actor in a given scene and compares it to the range of genuine emotion a human would display. So 10 cages is the maximum score. Cages referring to our friend Nicolas Cage. Any more than 10 and we record the result. So let's get into it. Test number 4, the emotometer overspill.
You blow a fuse, sing from the devil cuts loose.
The emotometer overspill, where screaming is king.
Of falling in love.
All right.
All right, not a ton here. I have 8.
Okay.
8 of them. You ready?
Yes.
Starting slow. Thor, the guy covered in leather.
Yeah.
The guy says, "I told you not to wear a bunch of leather, right?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm chafing big time." I plugged it in just to see. It got a 12, and we just got this thing back, so I think we're good on the emotometer now.
I want to
12. Go ahead.
I want to step in real quick. You know who those two guys must be modeled after? The two poachers?
No, who?
The original Power Rangers, Bulk and Skull.
Oh my God.
They're the same dim-witted duo, like with the ponytails and the leather, and they're always trying to get into trouble, but they're idiots, so they always like end up like getting a pie in the face.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out, see the comparison. It spit out as 12. How do you feel about that?
That's fair, because it was a very flaccid piece of outrage.
Yeah, it's a little over a few too many ahs and e's and adjusting the groin.
Yeah.
For the machine. So a 12 sounds about right.
Right.
Moving on to number 2. You know that little monkey asshole? He's
The small one, the small guy. Yeah.
Well, I plugged him in just for shits and giggles, and
Yeah.
he got a 15, so he registered.
Okay.
Yeah, and it looks properly adjusted, so 15 there. Fuck that monkey.
Yeah, I can live with that.
Yeah. George's facial expressions when acting out the gorilla sensual mating ceremony. No dialogue there, but it registered as 16.
Fair.
Yeah. George, dog eat dog here? George, never bring Shep here. 17. Very poorly acted.
Yeah.
Yeah, had a 17. I've got 4 more here. This one also has no dialogue, but all of George caffeinated.
Oh my God! Fuck that scene. When he's like chewing the coffee grind, the chock full of nuts, coffee grinds.
Yeah. Whatever he's doing. It's like,
Yeah.
You gotta. I understand it's like a jungle man who's never had caffeine before, but come on, it's pretty rough.
Yeah.
It's pretty hard to get through. That got a 20.
All right.
I should probably have reversed these 2, but who cares? Whoever was in that ape suit when Ape was abducted did a very poor physical job of looking like they were being, knocked out by the trank.
Yeah.
So they're like bumping into stuff and like groaning and moaning. And that came out on 18.
Okay.
2 more. Number 7, I have Lyle. You know, at the end, when he's in the boat, they go over the rapids. He doesn't know that Ursula's not in the boat anymore, right?
Yeah.
He does the ceremony in the dark cave, and he goes, "That's it. We're married. Now let me look at my bride." No. As it fades off. And I actually thought that would have taken the cake with a 21. That's a pretty high score, especially with the meter overspill machine, the device being just recalibrated. Yeah. 21's pretty good. But Beatrice Stanhope came in, and you might know the scene I'm referring to. Mm-hmm. When she gets the news that Ursula doesn't want to marry Lyle anymore.
Yeah.
She goes,
Yep, yes, she does.
And that came out of 23, which is a couple ticks higher than Lyle, which,
Okay.
unless you have any objections, means that Beatrice is heading into the full-on Ass Cheek Championship against Arnold Schwarzenegger.
What's she gonna do? Throw shrimp cocktail at him or something?
She may. She really may. So we're going to head over to the Ass Cheek Arena whenever you're ready to see who's going to win this overacting battle of Ass Cheek Championship.
All right, let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to ask cheek!
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the full-on Ass Cheek Arena, as we're excited to bring you an underdog bout. The arena hasn't seen such a matchup that's one-sided since Helen and Cage Ass Cheek bout number 3. Let's head down for our introductions. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends from distant nations. Our first competitor standing in at a measly 5'3", weighing in at a weight not divulged by our competitor. From San Francisco, California, please welcome Beatrice Stanhope. And now introducing the towering titan of the Terminator franchise, standing at 6'3" of brawn and brutish bulk, weighing in at 245 pounds, from the distant nation of Austria, your reigning, defending, full-on Ass Cheek champion of the world, Arnold Schwarzenegger. There's the bell, and the action is underway. Beatrice screaming obscenities at Arnold as we get going, but Arnold, undaunted, proceeds to push forward. Arnold now closing the gap to just a couple of feet as Beatrice splashes her cocktail at Arnie. That must have been something stiff as Arnie is staggered. Beatrice now with a wide sweeping slaps, and Arnold's face is wet and red like a medicine ball after a hard Arnold workout. Arnold now looking rather annoyed, groping Beatrice. Oh, that is definitely in poor taste. Arnold not pleased with the goods, lifting up the older Beatrice high above his head, bleeding now from his neck as Beatrice was able to scrape on her way up. Oh my, huge throw. Arnold must have tossed old B halfway across the arena, and she is not moving. Arnold now finishing what he started here with a quick snap, and that will do it. Looks like a young blonde and a very in-shape tan man are actually celebrating in the stands. That's sick. That's disgusting. Ugh. Well, anyway, Arnold successfully defends his title here. No surprise at Ass Cheek Arena. We'll see you next week, fellas. Back to you.
Wow.
All right.
Just snapped her neck. All right.
Yeah, just snap. Yeah, just. I was a little disgusted by his actions.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you put 90s Arnold in an arena with a woman, you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So, Rob, now it's time for that ad read if you have it ready, pal.
All right. Today's episode of The Bomb Filter is brought to you proudly by Trolley Bright Crawlers. That's right, last podcast on the left. They're sponsoring us now. We've got the goods. We've got the game. We've got the charisma. And we have 18 reviews on iTunes. I don't even like sour candy because it gives me heartburn, so suck a butt. But hey, guys, we gave you guys a shout out. Can you get us back? Love the show. No? Okay. Can you at least tell Marcus to return my emails? No? Okay. Trolley.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Trolley. It's great to have them aboard, man.
Yeah.
I do love me a gummy worm here and there.
Those bright crawlers are pretty good, man.
They are. I'm not going to lie. Test number 5, the poor taste detector.
Yes.
Is designed to identify and flag potential hazards created by the film crew. So these hazards consist of moments of immorality, abuse, racism, phobias, and any other in poor taste scenarios. Let's get into it. Test number 5, the poor taste detector.
Oh my god, you can't say that. It's 2021.
Nice. Okay, so number 1, Lyle assumes the guides are primitive.
Yeah, and they have way better camera knowledge than he does.
Yeah. He, Magic Fire, I think, or Magic Pictures or something, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's racist.
Yeah.
Lyle is also the decision-making physical fiance, pulling his bride to be through the jungle by her arms.
Yeah.
On multiple occasions.
Yep.
That's not good.
No, it ain't. No, it ain't.
George licks Ursula's face while she's sleeping.
Yeah, it wasn't even like placed properly. I mean, because like he didn't like if they maybe if they showed him like doing that after tucking in one of his gorillas.
Yeah, right.
As like a good night type of thing. But
Yeah,
no, he just wanted to like taste her salt.
Yeah, it was pretty gross.
Yeah.
You know what it reminded me of? And this is when I think only in movie frames. It is, that's a bit of a shout out anyway. To Terminator 2, when, what's her face? What's the mother's name? Holy crap, why am I?
Sarah Connor, Linda Hamilton?
Sarah Connor.
Yeah.
Jesus, how do I not think of Sarah Connor? You know, when she's like, she's retained and put in her room, and the gross security guard licks her in the face.
Yeah.
Like while she's catatonic.
Yeah.
That's essentially what George just did. It's obviously not in good taste.
Yeah.
Plus, she hasn't showered in a while, so it's like literally not in good taste either.
Yeah.
4, George used the lion to get some action. Okay, so this is time for our crackpot spot of conspiracy theory bullshit.
Okay.
So I think that George did have an understanding with that lion. You saw the wink at the end.
There was a wink. Yes.
Yes. Which, you know, they want you to think that he was being altruistic, right? He didn't want Ursula to know that he hooked up the monkey. Why? If Ursula knew, she would think he was extra cute for that. He's trying to get her in the sack, right?
Yeah.
The reason that he doesn't want her to know that the lion is on his side is because that would cancel the attack in the jungle.
Yeah.
They showed George flying by, saw this hot piece of ass down there on the trail.
Yeah.
Calls up his lion buddy by drum corps or Tuki Tuki.
Yeah.
Lion gets the signal and comes down to attack the blonde. Right? He knew Lyle would run away. He would swoop in, beat up the lion, and take Ursula with him. That's my crackpot theory. What do you think?
So it's an elaborate, like, send out a bongo-gram whenever we need to run game.
Yeah, exactly.
And the lion was his wingman. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
I don't think this is his first damsel in distress.
No. they, on the outtakes, they zoom down to, like, the bulkhead and see a pile of bones that have been fucked to death. Like he's done that 100 fucking times.
Yeah. There's just like a spot scooped out of the bones, and there's just like a little note that says Ursula. Like it's like her spot. All right, number 5. This is kind of on the same wavelength, but
okay.
Ape tell George how to make Ursula his mate.
Yeah,
that's like love potion stuff.
Yeah,
you know, not cool. Like, what if she doesn't want to be your mate? There, George. Number 6, mother forcing the marriage to Lyle. So, I mean, that's an obvious one, but it's true.
Yeah.
Let the girl choose, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, the dad was on board. I forget his name, but he even says about the mother, Beatrice, he's just like, she's a pain in the ass.
Woman is a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
That's true. So I wrote mother because the dad's not bad, right?
Yeah. He's afraid of the mother, so he wants to curry her favor, but at the same time, he's just like, dude, come on, she's an adult. She knows she's got a brain. She knows what she's doing.
Exactly. Number 7, George decides to swing through the wedding cake.
I'm going to stop you here for a second because, okay, so I really hate how like the signature joke and catchphrase and promotion for this entire thing was "Watch out for that blank." You gotta think about how this scene was set up. The watch out for those trees made sense because he was in the heat of the moment, swinging by, he was involved in whatever scenery he was involved in, and watch out for that tree. Okay, but for the wedding cake gag to work, they walk outside. He's in the city. There's no vines. He found a rope, was just standing out there waiting for them to come outside so he could swing into the cake.
Exactly. That's why I said he decided to swing in the cake. There's no way he didn't do that on purpose.
Yeah, he was standing there waiting for them to come outside. Just standing there patiently. It was like, no.
Yeah, I think the Lyle and Ursula dolls were on the top of the cake too, right?
Yes, and then
he saw that and just got like pissed off. I mean, he's very childish.
Yeah.
I think he just got pissed and decided to swing right into that cake. I really did.
Yeah.
That's in poor taste.
Yeah, very poor taste.
How much? What was that? A $5,000 wedding cake or something crazy?
Probably, yeah. And then they just turned it into they made like a pile of grapes out of it, and with the beheaded statue of Lyle.
Yeah. All right, number 8. Keep in mind that this is a Disney movie. Okay.
Who cares?
Beatrice threatens to cut George's dick off in a Disney movie.
Yeah.
I will remove the reason you have a loincloth, I think was what she said. I'm paraphrasing.
Yes, that's what she said, yep.
Yeah. So, young men all over the country. Maybe I didn't pick up on that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Another one of those, like, shameful references to the penis, though, just to get the parents re-involved, though. Like, how long is that going to hook your audience? And then, some kids old enough are going to get the fact that Ursula's mother is threatening to chop off the Jungle King's weenie.
Yeah.
That's kind of deep and a little dark for kids, I think.
Yeah.
But that's me. Number 9, George tosses Ursula to the ground. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
Number 10, a little animal abuse here when painting the elephant's ass, just married.
Yeah.
White paint plastered all over the ass of an elephant. Probably something you're going to get in trouble for nowadays. Yeah.
Oh, it's going to block its pores up. It's not going to breathe properly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. This can't be good for the elephant.
Hell no.
Finally, for me, and this actually is something that Aaron was also touting. One of the reasons that she doesn't like this movie, that Aaron's my wife, Ursula being attracted to a man who holds a mental age of about 11.
I did not even think about that till just now, and holy shit, that's fucked up.
It's so wrong, man.
Yeah.
That's why I was saying before that Sleep Sweet really drove me crazy, because she, imagine a teenager. That's like a teenager kind of idea to have, right?
Yeah.
Like a very innocent one.
Yeah.
Maybe younger than a teenager.
Yeah.
And she's going down to that level because she wants to see his rockin' body naked again.
Yeah.
Right? It's just gross that she is stooping to the level of banging a childish person. He's mentally much, much, much younger than her. And that that would drive me crazy. I don't think I can have a relationship with someone even 10 years younger than me, just because of the difference in our maturity level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of course, given all the things that guys say every time another woman enters the picture, you always have to qualify by saying I'm married. So, I blah, 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 all that considered.
Yeah.
I could not, imagine being with someone that young for any extended period of time because of the difference in maturity. Just saying.
Oh yeah. Me being 33, if I met a 23-year-old girl, her 20s haven't crushed her yet.
Yeah,
we can't relate to life. We can't relate to each other in life because, you're just starting a career. I've been through a couple now, and I'm just dude, we are not on the same wavelength here.
No, it's so true.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I've got. What do you have any mentions or?
Not necessarily for poor taste, but just an aside. Do you have anything written down for the rest of this episode about Brendan Fraser's rockin' body?
You know what? Let's just go for it, because nothing that important, obviously, if I remember.
This is kind of outside of this is outside of what's in the movie. But you think about people who put on weight or lose weight or build their bodies up for a role in a movie, like Christian Bale. He got down to 128 pounds for The Machinist, and then he beefed up to almost 200 pounds for Batman, right? And he's a method actor. He's revered for what he does. He gained a shitload of fat for American Hustle. And Matthew McConaughey, he lost a lot of weight for Dallas Buyers Club. Won a bunch of awards. Is considered a valuable piece of cinema.
Yep.
Brendan Fraser probably went on a starvation diet and worked out 6 hours a day. Did a monolithic amount of sacrifice and exercise, an extreme amount of self-control.
Yeah.
To get the body for George of the Jungle.
All right. Very, very good point. I see your point.
It's like it wasn't the role of a lifetime. It was George of the Jungle.
Yeah, it was definitely like a kids movie, but again, it was advertised to a wide audience of adults. They were hoping that they would latch onto it too.
And it did score pretty well, and he is a beefcake, so whatever. But like, it's just I'm just imagining the same amount of sacrifice for like the Machinist or Dallas Buyers Club for.
No, I hear you, because there's no way that you read the script of George of the Jungle and you're like, I'm going to win an Academy Award for this one. Yeah.
I'm going to eat like 3 Brussels sprouts a day and not drink any calories. Yeah, it blows my fucking mind. Like he read that and he made good on him. Good on him for making that sacrifice. But holy shit. Yeah.
Impressive. But yeah, for George of the Jungle.
Yeah.
Good point, dude. All right. Hey, let's move on to test number 6. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
Accounting for entropy. So bad movies rely too heavily on films of the past. When recycling an idea, a director or writer is committing to a trope. Almost every movie has one or two, but bad movies have many. So we count them up, and that helps us to evaluate the film. Test number 6, accounting for entropy.
Obvious tropes. Brought to you by, he's right behind me, isn't he? We're gonna need a bigger boat, and well, fuck me sideways and call me Senator Blimpy.
Okay, so before you know what George of the Jungle really is, I mean, you probably do just from the trailers and stuff, but you're supposed to not really know what he is, and they have the legend of the white ape.
Yes.
Which is the misunderstood mystical creature.
Mm-hmm.
Trope.
Yes.
Number 2, the rich prick's fiance.
Yep. Can't
see that enough, I'm telling you. Number 3, they are probably saying this. This is Lyle saying about the guides. No, they're probably saying that I'm the biggest moron they've ever met in their life, and that they want to do something evil to me or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it immediately moves over to them, and that's exactly what they're saying in Swahili.
Yeah.
Same as the narrator, the gag. It's just tropey because it happens in a lot of movies.
I did like those guys though, for like the whole now let's throw our heads back and laugh.
Yeah, that part did not come in because it's actually really funny. I
laughed my ass off at that part.
Yeah. Okay. I think this is a star. This is one that may come up again, and it seems to have a specificity to it, but it really doesn't. So let me pull back the veil on our 4th trope here: fainting people talking to their mommy.
You think it's like a Freud thing?
I guess so. Yeah, maybe that's what they're thinking.
Yeah.
But dude, it happens all the time, doesn't it? Like people like I guess it's a comedy ploy, but you're half aware of what's going on. You're like, mommy, I don't want to go to school today or whatever.
Yeah, like in one of our pilot episodes for Biodome, when Doyle gets bonked in the head, he's like, mommy, please let me out, or at least slide another pancake under the door.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I didn't even think about that. What we've done out of the 20 movies we've done or so together, there's been at least 2.
Yeah.
That's kind of a high rate. Number 5, bonding over a teaching moment. So I'm thinking of the Vine specifically, when George is like teaching her how to do a special foot lock that immediately comes undone, by the way. That drove me a little crazy.
Yeah.
But that was the moment where they realized that they're like so good together or whatever.
Yeah.
Number 6, the overbearing rich parents.
Okay.
Simple as that.
There we go.
Number 7, here's one reference to the Wicker Man. The underwater get up and go, I'm calling it, where George is shipped to Africa and then gets out and runs 28 miles immediately.
Yeah, right after they plugged Nike aggressively.
Yes, they really did. They really did. So yeah, that just the hero has unlimited endurance, I guess.
Yeah.
Number 8, at the end there was, and it's a Disney movie so they can get away with it, but the Lion King Pride Rock joke.
Oh, that fucking pissed me off so much.
Yeah. It's a little shameless.
Well, not only is it shameless, that you do it with a newborn because you're showing the kingdom your offspring. That was like a 4-year-old. That was like a 4-year-old kid.
Yeah. Hey, that's a little father's lounge right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would know because you're, we're both recent dads.
Yeah, we both have 2 kids under 3. So once we turn our microphones off, our lives pretty much go back to static.
Yeah, Dad cracks open a beer and tries to relax for 2 hours before he goes back to doing another double the next day.
Yes.
Number 9, the man bonds with animals, makes him a good guy.
Yeah.
So same horse scene, but like you see him like with the Tukey bird and the monkey and the elephant, and just the fact that he has that kind of sway with animals. They all know it's something about Mary, the old lady who has the yappy dog. She has that's kind of the telltale, like, will you be dating a good guy? We'll tell if, Yorkie yaps at him or whatever. I don't remember the dog's name.
And with the headphones with her brother, because her brother didn't like his headphones being taken off.
Yes. Yeah. True.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's actually really poor taste. Good point.
Yeah. I just compared. Never mind.
Yes, I know. That's what I'm saying.
My bad. Anywho.
Yeah, we better not go any deeper into that.
Yeah, move on.
Number 10 and my last, the lighter gun switcheroo. Usually this is the person thinks the gun isn't loaded.
Yeah.
But in this case, it's a little different, but it's still the same trope. The guy hands him a lighter. He thinks, but it's actually a gun, and then he ends up shooting George.
Yeah.
That's what I have. You have any tropes?
I mean, the fact that it has a happy ending, but it's Disney, so I'm not going to knock them for that.
Okay.
No, you touched the base because I was talking about, like, I was thinking of, when like the kid wants to ask the girl to the dance and his cool friend teaches them how to like dance and they have like the montage.
Yeah.
They kind of had that with the ape teaching him how to do the mating ritual, but like I think we covered that, or we already kind of covered that, so I don't want to add another one to that.
All right, it might come up again. We'll see.
All right.
So the score is 10. I mean, this is not the highest scoring. I guess the plot pitch was pretty bad.
Yeah.
So for all intents and purposes, our number season 2 worst movie is George of the Jungle so far, and we'll get into whether or not that really compares to movies we've done in the past a little later. As for now, let's get into test number 7: bad effects, side effects.
Okay.
So this is a simple test idea with a complex but accurate structure. We grade the movie's computer graphics and practical effects on a custom scale. Sometimes this includes makeup and sets too. It depends on how much it pisses us off, I guess. So really, really bad CGI is called a Deep Blue Sea for the terrible, terrible sharks in that movie. Slightly better than that, Total Recall. This is usually practical effects like claymation and stuff like that, because although that movie was actually good, the CGI was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Better still, we call that a rock scorpion, and it is in reference to the infamous Dwayne the Rock Johnson appearance in The Mummy Returns, where he's half scorpion and half human, and the CGI looked bad, but it was 2000 CGI, so whatever. And then our best of the bad, we call it a Beowulf, because had you ever seen Beowulf, it is a full CGI movie, and I think they thought it was going to be really epic, because they thought that they had like such good CGI that it was going to look like reality.
Yeah.
So they made this whole movie, and it was actually kind of eerie because it was close, but no cigar.
Okay.
So that is our grading structure. Let's get into test number 7, bad effects, side effects.
Bad CGI till the day I die.
Now, I'm torn on this one, but I'm going to see what you have to say.
Okay. Interesting. Well, it pretty much sticks to its theme. You'll see. For my number 1, the opening art, I thought the cartoony stuff was just cheap looking.
Yeah.
So I give it a recall. How do you feel about that?
That's fair.
It just looked like they got cheap animators to do it, and I don't want to reward them for that.
Yeah.
Mighty Ape Mountain, I thought looked stupid, and they didn't have to do that. So I gave it a recall.
Yeah, it looked like the aggro crag from Guts.
Yeah, it did. That's true. Number 3, the travel guide falling off the bridge also looked kind of crappy. Not Deep Blue bad, but still recall.
Yeah.
You know, you can tell he's not falling, really.
Yeah.
He's just like laying on the ground with his arms and legs up in the air going, ah!
And the camera's just pulling back real fast or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And then they just green screen the back. So.
Yeah.
But we shouldn't be able to know, like, so easily how they did that.
Yeah.
So recall. The fake lion, like I'm talking about when he falls off the tree and lands on it, and like when he gives it the flying pile driver.
Like the elbow drop. Yeah.
I thought that looked really awful, and I said Deep Blue for that.
It looked like a guy just laying in a lion suit and not even fully filling it out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It looked deflatable, you know?
Yeah.
Which a lion should not look. And also, to tag team on that, I gave it another, number 5, but when he picks up the lion and spins it super fast.
Yeah.
Like a pizza, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Also Deep Blue, you just can't do that, in my opinion.
No.
It just takes me out of the movie. I thought Ape, you know, the ape named Ape.
Yeah.
Was a recall. I didn't really like it. I didn't think it was the worst ever, but it's clearly not an ape.
Like, I'm gonna say right now, like for most of these, I thought like a lot of it was strong recall. But
yes.
Now that you're pointing out some things I wasn't even thinking of, I'm thinking like it's between recall and Deep Blue mostly.
It's pretty much recall all the way through, but there's Deep Blue, and actually I do have a couple of other scores.
Okay.
So I'll show you when we get there. But Ape and all the rest of the gorillas to me looked undersized, and like the person in the suit was super uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Number 7, Shep.
Okay.
I just wrote everything about Shep I hated. Deep Blue.
Fair.
When he's running through the jungle and like jumping down and like grabbing the sticks and stuff, the elephant CGI just looked really horrible.
Yeah.
Did you catch the gorillas like carrying a trampoline for George?
Yeah, they're walking in like a circle while he was flying above them, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and like the material was like an undefined material, but whatever it is, unless it's made of a rubber tree, right, which is like bullshit to begin with, isn't going to help. So I wrote recall for that.
Yeah.
What did you think of all the tree indents? Like, it's supposed to show you like how fast, like what his velocity was, but I really hated how like deep into the tree he embedded himself.
Yeah, I didn't like that. The one I did kind of like is when it showed like the other side of the tree pushing out a little bit, because it was cartoony, and I think they were trying to go for that. So I didn't mind that, but the rest of them just looked like shit.
Right. So I just put the tree indents, and that includes the time that he hit the ground, and it's just like super unrealistic because it is perfectly carved around. Like that's not how an impact happens.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So recall for that. There are a few things that happened while they were fighting. Yeah. Like George's head is in the cage and there's little stars around, and it looked like Who Framed Roger Rabbit all of a sudden. Yeah, which I don't think you should get away with that. So Deep Blue. Okay. But I actually gave. So here's something that happened during the fight. George smells his own armpit and his face goes green. Yeah. And though I don't like that comedy, I don't think that's very funny. The fact that they were able to flush his face green for just half a second, I actually gave it a rock scorpion because I thought it kind of looked cool.
I liked that. Yeah, it was. Once again, it was like the thing. I think the failing of this movie is like, are you a cartoon or are you a live action cartoon or are you not? Yeah. Yeah. And they didn't know which side of the fence to land on, but that one actually that one landed.
I agree, but they should have pushed it harder. You know, I think this movie would have benefited from a lot more of that cartoony aspect because, you know, it definitely is cartoony, but not enough to be not enough to push you there. Yeah. The high speed swing towards the end. Yep. Where he's on that rope and it's clearly fast forwarded. I mean, anytime you're clearly fast forwarded, I give you a recall. Sorry.
Yeah, like I was saying at the beginning of last episode, I watched a bunch of the Ernest Goes movies, and that's something they rely on way too heavily. Like he's like mopping the floor in the school. He's like, and it's just like, okay, you're fast. Got it. Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, I don't get it. Although I did give them another rock scorpion here for just the use of, was that the Golden Gate Bridge or am I misremembering? It's like a giant bridge in San Francisco, right?
I called it the Golden Gate Bridge. It used to be red, but I'm not sure if it's still red. And I think it was gray or black in the movie, but I think it was supposed to be the Golden Gate Bridge.
Right. Like, I assumed it was, but then I was like, I don't remember it being like that signature, like, orangey color.
Yeah.
You know? But anyway, I thought the fact that they were able to set that up, like that was a set, the bridge, and they actually used it. I gave him a Rack Scorpion. That's cool. Give me more visuals like that. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
And then I have one more, and this is not fair, but fuck them. Ape's performance at the end. The Frank Sinatra he did, like the whole set. And
the My Way thing.
Yeah. I give it a recall. Just fuck him.
Yeah, that's fair. They didn't need that scene at all. I think it's just like we have Ape Guy on our set for another 3 days. How can we get use of his time because we already paid him?
Yeah,
I guess.
You know how I like to talk about the music a little bit.
Yeah.
I actually thought that the My Way, I was going to bring this up later, but while we're on it, because I don't have much to say about the music in this movie, but I felt like the My Way performance at the end was actually a cheap way for them to jam another song on the soundtrack because they wanted it to, because they wanted it to be full length so that they can sell it for a higher price.
Probably, and another thing too is like I don't follow the rights of people's catalogs too closely, but Michael Jackson owned all the Beatles shit for a while. Could it be that Disney just acquired the Frank Sinatra catalog?
That could be.
Yeah,
certainly could be. So while we're on the subject, I didn't like the theme song, and they pump it throughout the movie like so much.
Yeah,
that drove me crazy. But what I did like was that song that's like, hey now, I say hey now, mama, say hey now when I'm with you. I actually really enjoyed that. I've been waiting for you all my life, waiting for a miracle. Like it's a catchy little number.
It gave you a Lion King vibe.
Yeah, definitely. Like they're dancing together by the fire pit, and I was like, all right, man. Like I jumped in too with this song playing.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
And then they played it again at the end, which is fine.
Yeah.
I wasn't too offended by that.
Yeah.
Okay. So took all of those into account. So what I do is 1 for a Deep Blue, all the way to 4 for a Beowulf, of which I got none.
Okay.
So I tally them all up and then divide by how many different moments we have that we look at. In this case, there were 15. So when I divided the total by 15, we got 1.8, which I rounded up to a total recall, which seems totally appropriate because there were a lot of them.
Yeah.
You agree?
That's fair.
All right. That's our score then, bud. A recall. And that is the end of our tests. We will now get into what's going to be a beefy little section, illogical inconsistencies. So help me scream about this movie, if you will. And then after that, we will calm down with your movie review. And then we'll talk about the bad credit names, which I love.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to start with divine logic. Not divine logic, but the Vine logic, where he's swinging through the jungle. And so, like, here's one example. He just saved Ursula from the lion.
Yeah.
Ursula, he, like, ran off with the lion in tow, right? And then Ursula is, like, shocked because the lion jumps back, right? Mm-hmm. But in the last second, George just runs out.
Yep.
And they're on a vine. And now, all of a sudden, they're 15 feet off of the ground.
Yep.
Like flying through. How did he achieve that? Was there a cliff? Was there like a drop off? Because they don't show that. It's just all of a sudden from being flat footed, having no speed. It was kind of like when Robin vaulted himself up the staircase going a mile an hour. Like, so there's also a spot where they are literally going through an open field.
Yeah.
A vine.
Yeah.
What is the vine attached to?
Helicopter?
Yeah, right. Like probably, I guess so. But then, there's other stuff like you said about the cake. He would have had to have set up his ropes and stuff.
Yeah.
It's lucky there was one at the top of the bridge. It's unlucky that there was like a speaker cable that he was able to latch to the awning that they were setting up for the wedding in the backyard of that mansion or whatever. So divine logic drove me fucking crazy in this movie.
I've got one for you too on the vines. So in his natural habitat where he's lived his entire life, he should know that those lands intimately. How many trees did he fucking slam into? Countless, right? Now he's on the Golden Gate Bridge. Unfamiliar wind conditions, water hazard, traffic hazard, all the different steel girders, and he just stands there, like, licks his finger, like, feels the air, which way the wind's blowing, grabs an unfamiliar type of rope, and nails it. He nails it.
Yeah.
The only failing he had there was he didn't realize he was holding onto like a parasail and he got whisked away. That's not. I'm not faulting that on his vine smithing. He just didn't know. But like the fact that he just fucking jammed through flawlessly with unscathed. But like, in his own home, he can't avoid a tree.
Well said, sir. Well said. The next little item on the agenda here is when you're spreading berries, and you mentioned this before, but when you're spreading berries all over yourself in an effort to disguise the fact that you weren't actually in an altercation, you're making it look, you're simulating blood, right?
Yeah.
But that only works when you have some cut or some scrape to point to say that it came from, and Lyle has literally nothing, so it's just a terrible idea all around.
Yeah.
George picks a gigantic bunch of wild bananas.
Yep.
That is not what wild bananas look like. Those are genetically engineered Costco bananas, not what you would find in the wilderness. Mm-hmm. All tightly grouped like that. It looks like a chandelier of giant genetically modified bananas that you would never see. Unless you're in like a banana farm where they're actually doing that, but he's out in the wilderness. So why is there a fucking talking gorilla, dude?
Mm-hmm.
How do they have a working elevator complete with a ding?
I have no clue.
Who engineered that one?
Ape.
Ape must have had a treasure trove of useful books that he recovered from the plane crash, because that's the only way they explain how he knows to, play the violin, has an egg timer. Made the complicated police and whatever was involved in the elevator with the dinging sound at the end. And what they didn't do is even explain that Ape actually collected George and all of those items from the plane crash, which is the obvious thing to do. Yeah. Sorry, pissed me off a little bit. How does George know how to train a dog? Yeah. George doesn't know what a dog is.
Nope.
Unless Ape knows how to train a dog, because he's got a dog obedience book he recovered from the fucking plane crash.
Yeah.
But they didn't tell us that, did they? So why does George have super strength? I'm talking specifically about the time when he has that enormous log that he throws a quarter mile for Shep. Where did that come from? I know he's in shape, but come on. I thought the giant dog bone joke that you might have referred to before, where they just made it a sphere, was not funny at all. That is like, man, that is the most like vanilla grandpa joke. Like, no kid laughed at that even, I don't think.
No, I don't think so.
A fucking gorilla drum corps.
Yeah, when you put it that way.
Yeah, and why can't they talk? If Ape can talk, what happened? Was there like a spilling of the ooze?
He's the alpha, I guess.
I guess so. He's the only one allowed to talk, maybe. Because they all understand language, it seems. Yeah. Okay, so it just so happened, I mentioned this before, but it just so happens that Lyle also carries the exact copy of his replica lighter on him.
Yeah.
So wouldn't you double check when the guy throws you the lighter? Wouldn't you just double check it, make sure it's not a fucking gun before you aim it at somebody?
Pop it up in the air real quick,
Yeah, exactly. Just make sure it's a lighter before you shoot it at somebody, because he clearly didn't actually want to shoot George, because he screams no when he does it.
Yeah.
Thor was told by Max to switch out his gun for a tranquilizer gun when they're trying to shoot Ape.
Yeah.
If you watch frame by frame, he just dips the gun down and agrees with him and then picks it back up, and it's a tranquilizer gun.
Yeah.
It's literally the same gun. He didn't even let it go. He just dips it like kind of out of frame a little bit. So where is Ape getting his multiple violin bows? Because you can't get multiple from a plane crash.
Violin bows are often made out of horsehair.
Okay.
Are there any horses? I didn't see any horses, but that's the only thing I could think of.
From wild jungle horses, and he was able to engineer them himself.
Just restring it, yeah.
Yeah, maybe so. I mean, he was able to make an elevator.
Yeah. Not too far-fetched in that way.
Right. Why would you leave George alone in your apartment for the day?
Really
That
dumb.
seems like a terrible idea.
Really stupid.
Really, really, really stupid. What do you know? He's on the top of a bridge now because you left him alone.
Yeah.
Dad is throwing a pre-engagement party.
Yeah.
Why? She walks into his job or whatever. Surprise! Like how did he know she was going to be there? It wasn't the engagement party. It was a welcome home. You know what I mean? She's going to spill the beans to him, and all of a sudden there's a party there. Like what?
The basketball, the pre-commitment ring.
Yeah. All right. Here's another one for you. George has McDonald's on top of the trolley. You remember that?
Yep.
How do you get that?
Corporate sponsorship.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, it's like Nike. Does he know how to purchase food? Well, and if so, where did he get the money? If he has money, he must have stolen it from Ursula. If he doesn't have money, then he must have stolen the McDonald's.
Yeah.
Either way, he's a piece of shit.
He's not looking good either way.
No. Somehow Ursula convinces the farrier, right, to bring her along with the police in the boat to save George. So what I did was I just wrote a little dialogue out because you remember she goes up to the guy who's in control of the boat, like they're going to go possibly save George and the parachuter on the water. She actually says in the movie, I have to get on this boat, right?
Yeah.
Imagine afterwards she says, the guy's like, I'm not going to let you on the boat. She says, I'm responsible for this well-dressed jungle man attempting to swing to the rescue as I have just brought him into the country without documentation. No, I'm not his wife. I just met him, but I think I might be falling in love with him. Yeah, I've only known him for a few days, but still, let me on the damn boat because my parents are well connected. My mother knows the fucking mayor. I'll have your badge, you piece of shit. That's the only way she gets on the boat.
Yeah. Exactly.
She really Karen's her way onto the boat because otherwise she's not getting on there because you're not allowed in the room when your boyfriend is dying if you're not his husband, right?
Yeah.
All right. Tukey bird flies from Central Africa to San Fran in about 10 hours or so.
Yeah.
What the fuck, dude? It's just so lazy. The definition of romantic is jogging around a horse until it submits to you and you force a creepy jungle hug. George had himself shipped back to Bukavu or however he's so UPS said to him, all right, get into this large shipping container. Here's a bunch of fruit and some Air Jordans and don't forget your toucan. And they ship them off via UPS across the. Yeah,
and make sure you insure this delivery because you're probably going to die.
Yeah, you're definitely dead. You're definitely dead. Max and Thor also should be dead, by the way. Those are the poachers. Right? Thor has no damage to his pants whatsoever after Tukey was stuck in his ass.
Yeah.
Ursula is a time traveler now. She comes to the rescue somehow.
Yeah.
She didn't tip herself. I guess she just took planes and then, I don't know. That part was fucking dumb.
Yeah.
The trail, how about this one? The trail to Ape River is no longer a 6-time winding trail around the mountain when Ursula and Lyle take it.
Yeah, I caught that too. Because doesn't it go around 6 times and go back to the home base?
That's how Ape ended up back there. But when they take it, they end up going down some treacherous river. Yeah. How that happened, I'll never know. The monkey does the entire drum corps alone. Yeah. The little monkey that I don't like. Once again, we have ropes coming out of the sky when George does the high speed swing. You know how long that fucking vine would have to be to go as far as he did? Like skyscrapers upon skyscrapers high. It's like it's as if we have vines in the jungle that are attached to a tree and somehow blew 7,000 feet. Yeah. Into the other direction to wrap itself around a tree that George conveniently was standing next to. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It should I'm thinking, on the playground, there's those handlebars that you can grab as a kid and just swing it. Like you go on it at there's
it's like
the
zip line that goes back and forth.
Yeah, exactly. That's what the vine would have to be.
Yeah.
For that to be mechanically possible. I'll leave the vines alone. I'm sorry.
Okay.
All right. This one's kind of fun too. I got just 2 more.
Okay.
Imagine the wedding invitations. You know how they get married at the end?
Yeah.
Meeting first at Mighty Gorilla Mountain for the ceremony. Proceedings to begin promptly at 1 p.m. So, reception to follow at Ape and George's hut. There's no address. It doesn't exist. It's out in the middle of the jungle, but her parents are there. Her best friend's there. There's a ton of people that somehow find their way into the middle of the jungle to find the infamous white ape missing hut that even the guides can't find.
And even if they are well-connected, affluent people.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm not going to a destination wedding on 6 months' notice if it's one state over. I'm not doing it, dude.
I hear you. Never mind Bakavu, where I have to literally crawl through the jungle to get a bunch of
vaccinations, get your passport updated, all that shit.
Yeah, forget it, dude. No way. Lastly, why was Ursula alone in the fucking jungle in the first place?
Well, I thought she was trying to do a documentary, because they never really go into her career.
No.
But I was under the impression that she was a nature documentarian or photographer or something like that. I guess.
Something. I don't know, because they don't explain it at all. So, she's surprised when Lyle is there.
Yeah.
So that gave it kind of a vacation-y feel, but then why aren't you there with your fiance? If he can show up.
Yeah.
She didn't have a film crew. She just had a handheld camera, so it didn't really feel like her profession to me.
Yeah.
Especially when Lyle shows up to ruin it.
Yeah.
So she's just out in the middle of the jungle to escape her fiance, who she already hates, I guess.
I guess that's the only plausible reason.
Right. But it's not a good one.
Yeah.
Anyway, why don't you get into your movie review as we cool down?
Well, real quickly though, just the whole language thing that pisses me off, because George and Ape speaks very fluent English, sophisticated English, and George speaks very primitive English, and it's alluded to, like you mentioned, that they recover probably a bunch of literature from the planes, but how much literature are you bringing on a vacation when your plane crashes? Not much. Here's the thing. No one speaks English on the island except for the guides, which I understand, because if there's tourism and there's poaching and that kind of thing, they want to be able to talk to people coming in. That's their economy right there.
Yeah.
So why does anybody on the island speak English at all? Why would the monkey or George speak English? And they do have those books. So the whole fact, it's just for the dialogue of the movie setup. There's no other reason for them to be speaking English. There's no reason for them to have any discernible dialogue or any. You can't learn another language from a book without hearing it phonetically from somebody else.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Is there's no way even Super Genius Ape would have been able to, if you gave me a Swahili book, it doesn't matter how many times I read it over, it's not going to click.
Yeah.
It's not going to be all of a sudden I understand Swahili. So yeah, exactly. I'm with you. There's no way. Good, very, very good point.
It bothered me. That whole thing, just sitting there wait a minute. And the fact that, I'll get into it in my review, so I'm only going to say it briefly. The fact that he has very primitive grasp on English, but can grasp abstract to also convoluted subject matter. She's a stripe and you're a spot. How is he able to piece that together and know what that means? So,
yeah, because he does. He's so you not want me to marry Ursula?
Yeah.
Yeah, good point, dude. That was a very well thought out point that I did not get. So thank you.
Okay. You got it. And I'll get into my review real quick.
Do it.
Brendan Fraser gets in the best shape of his life for George of the Jungle. Not Batman, not Terminator, not even Waterworld. George of the Jungle. Imagine the starvation diet and 6 hours of daily exercise that was required of this man to do the same watch out for that tree gag 16 times. Let's completely disregard the fact that he can save a man from a massive bridge in unfamiliar territory, but can't swing past a couple trees in a patch of jungle he's lived on his entire life. He barely speaks English at all, but seems to grab abstract and complex notions of human courtship and etiquette, but let's not talk about that either. George of the Jungle. How do you get those abs? Seriously, I'm asking.
Yeah, I would like to know as well.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's do some bad credit names. We'll talk about what we're doing next week.
Sure.
And yeah, then we'll go over the scores.
Yeah.
For our first of season 2.
Okay.
All right. So I've got a bunch.
All right.
So I'm going to kind of rip through them since we're running like towards the end of our average.
All right.
Number 1, and remember, I build up, so I promise I promise number 18 will be funnier than number 1. Number 1, fitting, it's Richard Roundtree.
Okay.
Number 2, playing himself, Mayor Willie L. Brown.
Okay.
Number 3, I wrote down James Duggan. Can you guess why?
He was in something that we've done already.
Have you ever heard of Hacksaw Jim Duggan, the wrestler?
Yeah, I have.
You know how he goes, oh!
Yep.
So I think they recruited him to do all the, oh!
That's pretty funny.
Number 4, Duke K. W. Cullen.
Okay.
Number 5, Ron Long.
Ugh.
Number 6, Brett Equistapace.
Okay.
That doesn't sound like a name.
It sounds like a topical cream.
Yeah, it does. If you've got an itchy spot on your bum, what you need to do is apply Equistapace twice a day.
Yes.
That's pretty perfect. Number 7, Phillips Flip Wiley Jr.
Okay.
Number 8, Lyndon Wineland Johnson.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's a lot of in it.
Yeah.
All right, so it's going to start to get good now. Robert Bobby Z Zonjuk.
Okay.
Bobby Z. Number 10, Sven Ole Thorson.
Okay.
SVEN-OLE-THORSON.
Oh, God.
Sven Ole Thorson.
Okay.
Michelin Sisty. That's number 11. Number 12, Mark Shuby Knutson.
Okay.
Number 13, Joe Lumpkin Derp.
Lumpkin.
It's not even in quotes, dude.
That'll never not be funny.
Joe Lumpkin Derp. Oh my God. What are you doing? 14, Trilby Sheezer. What the fuck? Number 15, Tochi Blymeyer. These don't sound, these do not sound like names to me. Check this one out. 16, I've got 3 more. Okay. 16, Edward A. Gutentag. Isn't that a German formality?
Yeah.
Isn't that a German greeting or something?
Guten Tag, hello, or good morning, or something like that.
Yeah, so Edward A. Gutentag. I've never seen that before. 2 more. Number 17, Rick Butts.
Okay.
And number 18, in my opinion, the best one, Keith Shardle.
Shardle. that takes the cake. That's the winner right there.
It's like when you shit in your pants, but only a little bit, like a real time.
It's a little shard.
I had a little Shardle there. All right, so hey, Arnold repeats as our full-on SG champion. No surprise there.
Okay.
I'm just going to run over the scores, and then we'll talk about what we're watching.
Yeah.
We'll plug our shit, and we'll go home.
Sounds good.
Even though we're already home.
I'm in my front lawn. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, all right. Cool setup in the yard, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Apparatus score of 27, plus 27. That's incredible.
Okay.
It's a Predator.
Yeah.
So, really great score right off the bat. Plot, a 35, that's a beefy score.
Yeah.
With a 4 star, though. So, the first 2 tests, not too bad. IDC of 12. We're used to scores that's around average, I'd say.
Okay.
Poor taste of 11.
All right.
10 tropes.
All right.
And recall for bad effects, side effects.
Okay.
Those are our scores. We're going to compare our next movie to those scores. And hey, Rob, what is our next movie?
Oh, dare I say, is it Battlefield Earth?
Yeah.
So,
God.
pulling the curtain back a little bit, guys. We did 6 pilots for the show before because we didn't know what we were doing, basically. And Battlefield Earth was one of them. So we're basically, we want to bring it to the table and we want to revisit it. And also it's one of those movies where it warrants multiple watches because I think we need to come in hot on this one. I don't think we had like our calibrations and scorecards and we weren't ready. We weren't ready for it. So
no, I agree.
So we
had to do the redux because, like you said, our equipment wasn't fine tuned. We just were not a well-oiled machine yet. And I feel like we still, our alignment's still ever so slightly off, but we're really getting there. I think I need to learn how to start our podcasts better because I'm always sketchy in the beginning. So I listened to it, because you just want to hear how you perform. So when I listen to it, I usually beat myself up in the beginning, but by the end of the pod, I'm feeling pretty good about it. So, and I feel that way again. I'm sorry for my fuck ups in the beginning. But this was a really fun pod. It ran kind of long, but that's what you get when you have a movie this illogical, huh?
Yeah.
So why don't you tell people again where they can find us?
Yeah, so if you want to email us, we're bombfilterpod@gmail.com. You can listen to us on Anchor FM, Spotify, Google Play, Pocket Casts, iTunes. So, anywhere you can, any podcast app our RSS feed will be there. So you can just search the Bomb Filter and we'll pop up.
It's blue icon.
It's blue. There's 2 little bombs making the B for bomb, spells bomb.
Yeah.
If you're on iTunes, please leave us a review. If you want to leave a 5-star review because you genuinely like the show, leave a 5-star review. If you want to leave a bad review, still leave 5 stars, then shit on us in the comment because if you want your comment to be read, you need to give us a high rating. So
I agree. Yes, well said, Rob. Well said.
So that's how we're gonna do it. Anything else you want to add, Chris, before next week?
Check out our Instagram page if you haven't already. We're up over 1,700 now, which is, we're trucking, man. Yeah. I don't really understand how to operate other social media. I have a grasp on Instagram, but I'm going to try. We do have a TikTok. We do have a Twitter. We even have a Reddit. So, check us out, on all of the social media platforms. Please follow, check out our content, and, thank you so much for listening. See you next week.
All right. Let's spend the bomb filter.